Hey guys.
Hello, hello.
And gals. Welcome back to the tasting room.
Yeah.
I haven't said that in a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. He's back.
I'm back.
Been a minute.
Been a long minute.
So.
Been more than a hot minute.
You might see my dogs walk across too because we are doing this new location, new style, all sorts of different stuff that we'll get into in a second. This is basically just a teaser. I'll post it on the podcast thread and on YouTube, obviously. But
I basically said, hey, I have some time before the day that we actually scheduled.
Let's be totally honest. You had the wrong date.
I did have the wrong date, though it was good of me to think that
100%.
Caught it. And
I'm not mad about it. No, because now we can get a teaser out. So basically what we're doing here, I had imagined a Grassfire podcast network previously with the originals that we produce, like the tasting room being a part of it, and then some that maybe come to us that need some sort of production work or whatever, being under the same umbrella. Didn't really do that.
Right.
For various reasons, just
time, mostly.
Got too busy, whatever, this other stuff. But now we have a couple of podcasts that we're going to have under the umbrella, including Tasting Room, which will continue, but in a new way. So it'll be this setting. Sometimes you might not be here. It might be using StreamYard, I believe it was, not Lab, because there were two that were very similar.
Right.
Using StreamYard, he can record it from home. I can record it from, this is my living room, by the way. As you can tell, Tasting Room is a great name for things that I'm involved in. There's a lot to taste back there. But so every Monday we'll do a live stream on YouTube. Time TBD, I'm thinking like 8 to 9.
Something like that.
Something
that sounds
in that
good.
range. And then I'll post that live stream as a Tasting Room podcast Tuesday mornings. Eventually, sometimes we'll have guests on, which if we're in the same place, we're going to think through this in real time.
Right, yeah.
This is just part of it. I think
this is still brainstorm.
I think the episodes where we have guests will need to be remote so that we can bring them in via StreamYard and be able to see and hear them. Because if not, I'm going to have to try to set up like monitors, and we'd have to have headsets and so that we could hear. That might be weird.
Maybe a couple of them like that could be cool.
I'll have to figure out the technical side of that.
Right.
But if we have guests on, which we will occasionally, it'll be part of the live stream, which will then turn into the podcast. Then we're going to start with, I'm waiting on a text to see if it's one or two on the network. I'll go ahead and talk about it because even if it's not on the network, I want you to check it out. Christina Winkle, the wife of one of my dear friends, Trey Winkle, who's been on the tasting room before, her Instagram handle is Chew Sip Repeat. She wants to start a podcast called Chew Sip Repeat. It's going to be very similar to the ethos of what we started with Tasting Room. She's from the service industry, has worked in every facet of the service industry, still has good connections in the service industry. Right now she works at the Philbrook, managing all their events and all that stuff. So she's plugged in that world. And so she wants to, it would be more of a topical version of the Tasting Room. We were just doing what we thought was interesting, which she will as well, but she'll also, like she wants to have Noah Bush and Trevor Tack back on, who have both been on the podcast previously, but to talk about everything that happened at Lowood and Hodges Bend and how they're moving forward and what the plans are, which I'm not even going to get into that. Yeah, man, I mean, that's just breaks my heart. So her podcast will post, now I'm working backwards. I should have gone in order. So ours will be Monday, Tuesday. Hers will be Friday. That leaves Wednesday as a gap.
And
Austin.
That's where I come in. Yeah. And so when we started talking about revamping or bringing back the Tasting Room as a podcast all over again, which was super exciting to me. I loved doing it and miss seeing you every week.
I miss your bearded face.
I know.
My Seth Rogen lookalike buddy.
Sometimes I even sound like him. I'm told.
Sometimes.
Never been in the room with him, so I don't know. It would be
like Inception. I don't know what would happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be excited.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've heard it my whole entire life.
Too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But it was right in conjunction. I'm going to roll out this podcast called Kettle Editions, alongside with hopefully some small videos that would pop up on the Cabin Boys ether or socials or whatever you want to call it. So they'll kind of be in conjunction with each other. And really all Kettle Editions is going to be that I wanted it to be is how how does someone keep a brewery brewing? How does that business run? How does it?
She really is going to be the star of this show, by the way.
That's right.
She does not know personal space. Sorry, continue.
No, you're good. So how do you keep a brewery brewing? How do you run it? What goes into it? Everything from recipe development down to, operations or, SOPs or whatever.
Did you just call me an SOB?
Yeah. So it'll be really fun. And the subjects will be, everything from, business related to very technical brewing, which I'll be bringing on guests or not bringing on guests, depending on the subject and depending on what's going on. And I think I'll probably field questions from my own employees that they want to hear, and something, I think it would be really cool for people from the outside hearing the curiosity even from people inside the industry of what they're thinking, what's going on. And then obviously at some point in time, I'd love to field questions from the entire public.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So I guess I need to make an introduction here. Prudence is the bigger of the two dogs. Come here. Say hi. Yep. This is Prudence. You're showing them your backside. Don't be a little hoe. Show them your face. Kinda. There you go. That's Prudence. Charlie. Hi. Charlie, you won't be able. Oh, you want to say something? No. Okay. Charlie, you probably won't be able to see. He's my King Charles Spaniel. She is a mutt. That was the most expensive trip to a brewery I ever made.
There you go.
Went to Heirloom on a Saturday. Left with the dog.
Sometimes that can just happen. We actually had an adoption event Saturdays, and those always go really well. And they love coming to breweries because people then end up making really expensive choices of their life, while maybe a little bit too inebriated.
Maybe. Christina is still figuring out what she wants to do with chew, sip, repeat. And I get it, right? It's almost like that nervous energy of like, it's been a thought in her head for so long, and now it's like, oh shit, this is happening. Like,
right.
Are we doing this?
Yeah.
You freak yourself out.
And we're kind of pushing her off a cliff a little bit.
We are a little bit. But like regardless of if it's on this Grassfire Podcast Network thread or she does it on her own, I want you guys to check it out. So I don't mind mentioning it regardless.
Sure.
We are in the tasting room. Do you want to grab a bottle behind you and two of those little glasses? Grab that first one, the Woodworks, and I'll talk about that. Yeah. Perfect. Because that's a new distillery in Oklahoma City that I found.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And then we'll grab a couple glasses. Let's see. We're just doing this in real time. Oh, she wants to. Christina, I'm outing you like right now. She is. She asked if she's thinking too much on it. The answer is yes, but that's okay. You haven't done this before. I did tease it. I talked about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Right.
Whether
because it's a good idea. We proved the concept with Tasting Room.
Yeah, and
the initial iteration of it. So
and that was really cool. I had a few couples come up to me at the brewery when we were doing it strong. Let's call it biweekly, and they were like, "This is one of our favorite things when it comes out."
I don't even know if I told you this. You're going to have to help me remember the name because I'm blanking on it right now. But I went to Great American Beer Festival this year. Thank you. Yeah. And went by the
Roadhouse group.
Group. They were. I didn't realize Roadhouse had bought Melvin, so they were.
Oh yeah. Well, that was like right around the time of announcement.
Yeah, and so we stopped by. I did to try some of their beers and just to see if
Max.
Thank you, Max Schaefer. Yep, I remember the last name. Oh, there's Charlie. You can kind of see him. To see if Max was working, and the female. I always feel bad if I say girl. Sure. Sometimes it's like, oh no, it's a woman, or we'll say woman, woman. But nowadays you don't know who identifies as what and whatever.
You want to be respectful and all that sort of stuff.
But the woman that was working at the table, when I asked for Max, recognized my voice. I was like, oh, you guys had him on the podcast. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm in Denver, Colorado. You're from Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
That's pretty cool.
What are we doing here? Cheers to that.
Hey, cheers.
So
glad to be cheersing again around this kind of deal.
If you look at it too in the light, he told me that they don't filter it, so there's like a little bit of sediment and a little bit of thing from the barrel. I think that's awesome. Delicious. Super smooth. I found it. Hunter Thiessen's a buddy of mine. He runs Heaven Hill for the state of Oklahoma.
Oh wow!
We're going to we're going to try to pick up some of Heaven Hill's business on the video side. And so we're working on some stuff, but he introduced me to the gentleman that owns Woodworks Distilling in Oklahoma City, which if you haven't been,
Beautiful
I believe
bottle.
it's off of Britain. I think I'll double check that. Put it in the comments or notes if it's not, but I think it's off of Britain. I went once, met the owner. Beautiful space. Like it's in the kind of old historic looking part of that strip of that road before you get to the train tracks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you walk in and it's like dark wood and a huge copper still. And like, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. And they started with gin and vodka.
Okay.
Because that happens the quickest.
Yeah.
Right. That pays the bills.
You got to get a revenue off the bat.
This is sourced
somehow.
MGP. And they put the actual like amount of what is in it on the side of the bottle. So like there's no
right on. So this is
guessing.
Right. So 57.5 ABV, which is 115 proof. Bottle 626 of batch 3. And P1, which I don't know.
So that's going to be...
I speak brewer and sometimes distiller, but...
So, and I'm going to...
Or...
Yeah, I was going to be wrong.
I butchered that, but...
No, it's okay.
I did okay.
But what that stands for is code for, like, the mash bill, basically.
Oh, okay.
But I just don't know what the letters stand for. Usually it's malt, barley, or rye, or, like, whatever, right? It's terms but sometimes the handwriting is hard to read. But anyway, great spot, local, good rye whiskey.
Yeah, it's really smooth. I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, did we finish the kettle editions?
I can say a little bit more.
On dogs and other things,
you're good.
But that's going to be the one that posts on Wednesdays.
On Wednesday, and that'll be fun. I'm probably going to have a goal of like 30 to 45 minute. They'll be shorter. Concise, listen to it on your way to work and then finish it on your way back home, kind of a deal. And small tidbits of, technical brewing, business operations, and definitely bringing in some guests every once in a while that, I would call myself really good at brewing. But there's so many different corners of the brewing operation that not one person can actually be a true master of. So bringing in people to kind of shine some light into, maybe some darker areas that people don't necessarily pay attention to or and are very specialized in research. So, Max Schaefer of Roadhouse, we just mentioned him. He's...
Hey, Prudence, Prudence, come here. We're not playing with that toy. No, that one's loud. So Max Schaefer, he's really in the front force of hop development. So that would be really cool. He just got into that, 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm getting stared at because I took the toy. There's another toy right there. Just grab it. It's right there.
It's right over there.
Yeah.
This will be fun.
Yeah.
So, that's kettle editions.
That's going to be awesome. And one thing I didn't mention is Christina's on Friday, yours on Wednesday will be audio only.
Correct.
So that I don't have to figure out a way to tote all this stuff around and come to you and do it and all this stuff. We'll just...
And does the world really want to see my face that much?
That's a lot of you. That's a lot. I mean, I think the same thing about me and anybody else. But so we'll, that way I can just get you some microphones. You can plug it in, go, be good to go. Oh, you found it, you little smart thing. We're not playing with the squeaky one. I'm sorry. And then I'll do the same for Christina. Hers will be audio only as well.
Yep.
She might accompany hers too with like a blog or
articles
articles of some sort because she's written for publications before. And so she likes that side of it as well. And I might dip a toe back into the sports world.
I'd love that.
Do a little sports podcast here and there.
There you go.
Especially with what's happening to my homies at Channel 8.
Yeah.
Fucking Sinclair, man. I tell you. They'll probably shut this down. They're big enough, whatever. But, yeah, what they've done to that station just breaks my heart. And so, I have some things in the works that I think is the future of news delivery.
Cool. I'm excited to hear about that.
Right now, but we'll talk about that at some point. And I guess I can get into as well, like if you follow Grassfire or me or whatever, you've noticed like a change in look. Like we rebranded from the orange flame to a black and gold new website. I'm going to post this probably tonight. Be a quick edit. So website isn't up yet. Still wearegrassfire.com, but it's in the finishing process as a total revamp of that.
Well, you had a big space.
Yeah.
And
so
then
I changed the name. I
divulged
felt like it was
all.
the right time.
Yeah.
You know, we had been at the studio over in Studio Row when we were just Grassfire with the orange flame.
Cool space.
And all that. Great space, yeah.
Yeah.
We built it before we had grown up, basically. We built it before we knew what we were and what we needed.
Sure.
And, you know, it became a thing where I know what the industry needs from us as a company now. And to fulfill that need, my options were to raise money to put into that building to make it what it needed to be, or do that in a space that I own.
I see.
And so, you know, it was for the best. It was for the best all the way around. And so
what did you? I'm genuinely curious. You were, you know, doing the cartoon editing ads and this, that, and the other. What did you see Grassfire shift from, or what you thought it was going to be, to what it is today, and what your focus is?
So what I can tell you is nothing from our service set has changed. So that isn't changing. We're still doing video production, animation, live production, podcast production. Like those things are our main tenets or whatever. But what I noticed and what I'm going to do, I'm in the process of nailing down with a new partner, a warehouse around hopefully downtown area, and turning that into a post-production studio.
Oh, cool.
Which is what the industry needs. There's no true dedicated Hollywood level post-production. I'm talking color suites, editing suites, audio mixing rooms,
which that could be really great, because Tulsa's becoming kind of a magnet for Hollywood anyway.
And there's a specific rebate for post-production that no film has been able to utilize because there hasn't been the space to do it.
And Tulsa is ripe with a lot of warehouse space.
And so, you know, that's the avenue that I'm pushing us towards, but it's going to be a subset of what we do. It won't be all that'll be Grassfire. So what I rebranded to was Grassfire, and then there's a line, and that line's very important because on the other side of that line basically tells you who you're dealing with, right? So there's Grassfire Productions, which does everything that we've always done.
I see.
There's Grassfire Studios, which is going to be coming, which will be the post-production studios, all that.
Sweet.
Somewhere down the line, if we do production services or something, it'll be Grassfire Services. It'll be Grassfire Podcast Network. It'll be,
You just gave me a pretty interesting idea, because we've had a trouble of delineation of the brewery, the brew pub, and Claremore Tap Room.
Use the line.
Use the
vertical line.
I actually am going to have a meeting tomorrow.
There we go.
And I'm going to bring it up.
We're solving the world's problems again. I love this.
Because we have people like, I had a bottle tasting on Friday, which was really cool. We opened up 4 rare bottles from the vault.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I kind of taught everybody about, bottle conditioning, barrel aging, this, that, and the other. But anyways, that's not a part of the story. We had 2 people show up to the brewery thinking, it's supposed to be at the brewery, which makes sense. Yeah. But it was at the brew pub. Oh. And so, we're still in that infancy phase of people trying to figure that out.
Use the line. Use the line.
I like that.
And so what we're going to do, the reason that the website isn't ready yet, what's taking the longest, is we got this inspiration from another production company, I think on the West Coast, I believe. But our logo, which I'll show you, is like an intertwined GF. So like the G is a little bit over the F, but becomes part of the F and whatever. And then when you get to the website, it's that. And as you start to scroll, it expands out and then tells you like with the line where you are. So there'll be different websites for the different things. And a lot of those are just not there yet. You know what I mean? Like the studio part, the services part. Cool. Podcast Network will be, pretty soon. I already changed the name on YouTube, but I haven't changed. I need to get like our actual style book from my branding guy so that I can change like the header and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
All that. But Yeah. So I'm excited. It's not a different direction as far as what the Grassfire that you all know and that I built and opened is. Like, we still do that. Our client list is growing because what we've been able to do. I hired Todd Lincoln as head of production, brought him back from LA. He's worked with Scorsese and a bunch of different people. And we now have a creative list of like the team that we utilize. So I'll just pull back the curtain all the way. Fuck it. Why not?
Come on.
It's copyrighted. Don't steal my idea. No. I figured there was one of two ways you could build a business like this. You could, and I have two buddies that opened Let It Fly Media in Kansas City, Ben and Andrew, who I love dearly. We're in a fantasy F1 league together, and they're killing it. They just opened up an office in Miami. They have the office in Kansas City.
Right on.
Andrew came from a sports background like I did. He was at Fox. Ben, I believe, is a meteorologist. I don't know if you're ever not.
Once a meteorologist.
Exactly.
Always a meteorologist.
And so they've picked up really good sports clients. Like, they do stuff for the PGA Tour. They do stuff for F1. They do stuff for and they kill it. Like, they kill it. And the way they built their company is everyone that they use is in-house. They hired them.
Cool.
Right? So their roster of employees, I'm not going to guess a number, but it's massive. And it continues to grow with opening up Miami and all that different stuff.
Right.
So that's fork left in the road, right?
Sweet.
Fork right in the road, which is the way I chose to go, is completely different than that, which is where you form relationships and deals and whatever you want to call it with a roster of different creatives. So we have a guy in LA who's been the director for the last 3 Taylor Swift music videos. We have a guy, and you can mix and match. We have a guy from New York that just had a film that premiered at Circle Cinema, and he's been at all these different film festivals and all this stuff. We have, and then a handful of local guys, 3 or 4 of which were directors for Reservation Dogs with Sterling Harjo. And
sweet.
And so now I've built, a list of directors, a team of directors, a team of cinematographers. If you, Joe Schmo Business, comes to me and says, hey, we're having issues with XYZ, or we think we need XYZ, I'll help you diagnose what your problem is. But then based on what you actually need from us, I can then go down that list of people and say, okay, well, Jimmy from LA, if you're a car company, has done Lexus car commercials that have aired for this, during the Super Bowl. Right. So why don't we bring him in? He knows exactly what to do. He'll be your director, and he'll crew it with his people. So I can mix and match and build teams that are tailored and specific to the deliverable that's needed for each client.
Right.
And I don't have to have under me and as a part of Grassfire,
got it,
82 employees. Right. They can just all be independent contractors, 1099.
There you go.
They're free to go do what they want to do, but we get first right of if I need them, they'll be there.
That's cool.
So it's a different way to do it. I don't know if it's right or wrong. We'll see.
Hey.
We're in this journey together.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But
I like it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do you want to share any personal news, or is that too personal?
Oh, no. I can share personal news. So Lisa and I are expecting.
Congratulations, buddy.
And we are going to have our first little one February 26th.
Do I know the sex yet? Do you know the sex yet?
I don't know the sex yet.
Are you doing it by surprise?
Doing it by surprise. Yep.
Can you share any names that you're whittling it down to?
Look, I shared a couple of names with someone random. I literally know that I shared names, but do not remember the person. And I definitely got in trouble.
Okay,
so,
we won't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lisa.
I'm not sharing
names. I had
names.
to ask. Okay.
Yeah. No, you're right to ask. Yeah. I'm the guy that would be like, yeah, here's all our names, but then Lisa reminds me of why we're not, and I'm like, okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So how do you buy for a baby that you don't know the gender? Yellows and light greens, or
greens, grays, earth colors. Yeah. Our baby room's going to be lots of earth colors, adventure stuff,
cabin and the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, and it kind of shifts from, on a registry, it goes from cute clothes normally are on a registry to all of the small equipment, all the bottles. And so it was I think Lisa's a very strategic person. So she put all of the things that are going to be needed rather than clothes on the registry so that we could...
it doesn't surprise me that she knew what she was doing there.
She's sneaky, man.
Yeah, smart cookie, that one.
I know. Well, I mean, without her, I wouldn't have a business. So it's...
yeah.
But yeah, we're excited.
That's awesome,
and a
man.
little bit terrified. But you
as
know.
you should be.
Yeah.
Not that you guys can't handle it, but like it's a life change.
Of course. Yeah. We're talking about how our schedule is for the week and this, that, and the other and working. And it's like, okay, maybe the first 2 days I stay at home. She goes back to, so it'll be an interesting juggle.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
That's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah. I look forward to it.
So around that time in February, you will see Austin podcasting from home.
Correct. And if it's from here up, I'm probably not wearing pants.
I thought you were going to say you were breastfeeding your baby or something.
Well, sometimes I've heard guys are like, I wish I could help, but I don't know if I would like to breastfeed. They make those
things where it's like a vest you put on and it's a fake boob that has milk in it so that the guys can breastfeed.
That's interesting.
So you just hook up, if Lisa this is getting way too personal. But if Lisa pumps, you would just put the bag, connect it to the fake breast and put the thing on and you could breastfeed.
Dude, the technology.
Please do that. Just take a video just once so I can laugh at you, please.
I don't know if I can get myself to do that. Oh my goodness. The technology of now I'm in it. Right?
That's not even new technology. That was it Meet the Fockers?
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure it was. How old is Meet the Fockers?
I guess that wouldn't, silicone and tubes and stuff have been around for a while.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure it was Meet the Fockers. How many were there? There was Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers. Was that it? Or was there a third?
I feel like there was a third.
I do too. It might have been the third, might have been the second. I'm not sure.
Meet the Fockers too.
Yeah, right. Also Meet the Fockers.
Right.
No, that's good. I'm happy for you guys.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on this?
Man, how are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah. Life is weird at the moment. It's weird. Yeah. I structured my day when we were at the old studio where for half of the day I would be at the studio. Which half of that depended on what was going on, what meetings I had, whatever. And so right now, this is my office, computers in the back with the desk and the printer and all that stuff. And so I walk from that bedroom into here to turn off the alarm, into there to start doing work. And
that's a tough commute.
I'm too social. It's a tough commute, man. Sometimes the dogs get in my way and I almost trip and it's the whole thing.
Traffic can be tough.
It's awful, bumper to bumper. But I'm a social guy. And so I didn't realize to what extent I would miss just having that place to go so that where work was truly separate from home.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I don't bring the laptop out here and do any work. I only work back there.
There you go.
Try to keep it that way. Obviously we're all on our phones at all times. So sometimes I'll answer something, but 90% of the time I try to do the work back at the computer.
Nice.
But it's been weird.
Okay.
It almost feels like COVID.
Oh, well, that's kind of a little PTSD.
Yeah. PTSD, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, when we open up the studio, I'll build an office for myself in there so that I can use it if I need to. It'll be more of like a communal meeting space / office thing so that where if I need to have team meetings, we can have it there. If anyone else needs to use that meeting space to talk to directors or actors or whoever it is, they can do so. But yeah, that part's been a little strange.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Business really hasn't taken a hit because 90% of what we did was on location anyway.
Sweet.
Which became the reason why, we were spending a lot of money for what was basically a big office for 3 people.
Right.
And it just didn't make sense.
Good move.
Didn't make sense financially.
Yeah.
So our bottom line looks great because our expenses are we have a couple subscriptions, right?
That's awesome.
So we'll see. It's a new venture in a way. I don't even know what to call that. It's not a new venture, but it's because we're doing the same things, but just a new season, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Cool.
With no studio.
Same deal, different camp.
Yeah.
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 Right on. Well, cool.
I do really like that rye.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited. I'm glad that you came up and started talking podcasts. Let's do podcasts again. And I'm glad that both of us have the time to do it.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah. And if you're watching this and you own a company or part of marketing or whatever, part of what will keep this going and continue to give us the capability of adding podcasts to this umbrella, to this network, is if you want to advertise.
Right.
Whether it's, I'll give Cabin Boys a discount even.
Hey, thank you.
I'm going to make Grassfire pay for it, but I'll give them a discount. Because that's, it's advertising. And so as this continues to grow, it's all about continuity, continuing to do it, hitting that godforsaken algorithm.
Right.
But you only do that by continuing to put out content. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we'll have stuff out for sure. If Tuesdays or Thursdays, that'll be reserved for if I decide to do a sports podcast. We'll see.
Let's go.
We should probably start an Instagram page.
Probably.
For podcasts.
Oh, man. Yeah, we probably should.
Probably individual, too. One for the tasting room, one for Kettle Edition. Well, I don't know. Are you trying to keep Kettle Editions under Cabin Boys?
I'm not quite sure. I'll ask Lisa.
Because it's not, you can use Cabin Boys for the same purpose, and you can reach a better audience. So
probably.
Bigger audience, at least.
Yeah, at least for the time being.
With Christina, we'll just see what she wants to do.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to shove her off into
We're just going to have to convince her by some hard pushing.
Yeah. So first live stream as of right now, assuming I had to order some equipment to make. So that's why we recorded this instead of it being live is technology, man. There's different cords you need to make that camera go into wherever my work laptop is, which is back there, so that it can see it as a webcam, so that then we can use it to live stream and not have to use the computer camera, because then we would have to be like
sitting in front of a computer.
It would be weird. Yeah. Unless we were in separate locations, then it really wouldn't matter.
No.
But so hopefully that all gets in. Monday the 4th is what we're shooting for. We'll update you somewhere. Maybe. Well, what we'll do, we'll post something on the 4th regardless.
Right.
It might not be live. It just depends on if everything comes in on time.
Yeah.
So
it'll
either be a pre-recorded video like this that'll be put up the same night that we'll shoot probably around the same time, so I can get it up at 8 o'clock. We'll go for an hour.
Be great.
Or it'll be a live stream. And if it's a live stream, feel free to throw questions, comments. I'll have a monitor set up so that we can see it.
That'd be cool.
And then all the stuff. My Christmas tree is kind of in the way, though. Didn't think about that.
Hey, it brings the room together, though.
It does. They can't see it, but it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's even color coordinated.
Yeah, I went white, red and white.
And silver. Yeah, I see
kind of whitey silver.
Yeah.
I'm a creative man.
You are a creative man.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too.
We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Right on. Cheers.